Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and US President-elect Donald Trump have spoken about the recent developments in Syria and a possible hostage deal. Both leaders discussed the ongoing efforts to bring back the hostages being held by Hamas in Gaza. However, a few sticking points in the negotiations still remain. These talks are hung over the number of hostages to be released in a partial deal, as Hamas is insisting on releasing far fewer hostages than Israel has been demanding. Israel, meanwhile, is not willing to budge. In a video statement, Israel's leader said that he discussed a range of issues with Donald Trump during their call, including Israel's commitment to preventing a Lebanon-based Hezbollah from rearming and Israel's conflict with Hamas, which has killed nearly 45,000 Palestinians in the besieged Gaza Strip.
על כל זה שוחחתי אמש, שוב עם ידידי נשיא ארצות הברית הנבחר דונלד טראמפ. זו הייתה שיחה מאוד ידידותית, מאוד חמה ומאוד חשובה. דיברנו על הצורך להשלים את ניצחון ישראל, ודיברנו ארוכות גם על המאמצים שאנחנו עושים לשחרור חטופינו.
Regarding Syria, where a rebel coalition recently overthrew the regime of President Bashar al-Assad following a lightning advance through the country, Netanyahu said that Israel had quote-unquote no interest in a conflict in the country, but would adjust its policy according to the emerging realities on the ground. He further asserted that Israeli military actions are aimed at thwarting potential threats. These comments come after Israeli forces following Assad's fall took control of a long-standing buffer zone that had separated Israeli and Syrian forces for decades. A move that rebels who are now in charge of Syria and some of the nation's neighbors had openly criticized. Israel has carried out hundreds of strikes on Syria's strategic weapon stockpiles in the days since Assad's ousting and moved troops into the demilitarized zone inside Syria. On the hostages' part, reports suggest that Hamas had given in to an Israeli demand that the Israeli Defense Forces do remain in Gaza temporarily under a potential ceasefire hostage deal after having previously refused to release any more hostages. Israel believes that 96 of the 251 hostages kidnapped by Hamas terrorists on October 7th still remain in the Strip, a figure which includes the bodies of at least 34 captives confirmed dead by the IDF. Hamas had for long months insisted that it would not really agree to a deal unless it included a permanent end to the war in Gaza and a full withdrawal of Israeli troops from the Strip. However, the terror organization is seemingly easing its demands and has also provided mediators with a list of hostages that it would release in the first phase of a new deal. According to reports, this list also consists of US nationals, women, older hostages, and those with medical conditions, and have also included the names of 5 hostages who have been confirmed to be dead. Meanwhile, about the volatile, unstable political landscape of the Middle East and its rapidly changing demographics and popular discontent, Netanyahu said that Israel is changing the Middle East. He said that he vowed a year ago how the country would do so in its military campaign. He further added, and I quote, "Syria is not the same Syria. Lebanon is not the same Lebanon. Gaza is not the same Gaza. And the leader of the Axis, Iran, is not the same Iran." Backing Israel, Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, had warned last week during a visit to the region that it would, quote-unquote, not be a pretty day if the hostages held in Gaza are not released before Donald Trump's inauguration. Warning of consequences, Trump earlier said that they would be held to pay in the Middle East if the hostages are not released before he came into office. Meanwhile, a bid by Egypt, Qatar and the United States to reach a truce, which would also include that hostage deal, is gaining momentum in the recent weeks, though there has been no news of any breakthrough just as yet. However, given the cordiality and warmth between the two nations and leaders, one could expect a breakthrough, as the very warm phone call between Netanyahu and Trump yet again highlights the enduring strength of the US-Israel relations, particularly during turbulent times.